Richmond is one of the most interesting compromises in oval racing. At only 3/4 of a mile, it has the traffic, contact, and constant decision making of a short track. But its D-shaped layout and relatively long front stretch allow drivers to carry enough momentum that it can sometimes feel like a miniature intermediate oval. At 14 degrees of banking with 8 degrees on the front stretch and 2 degrees on the back stretch. For the Smokin Thunder Arca Rookie Series, this creates the perfect mathematical setting for the final race of the regular season. The Arca drivers require management of weight transfer, rear grip, and the front tires, while continually working through traffic. At Richmond, getting into the corner is only part of the job. Drivers must get the car rotated through the center and still have enough rear grip available to put the power down without burning the tires off. And tonight, simply being fast enough may not be enough. The chase begins after Richmond. We head to Las Vegas in a week's time, then Echo Park, Michigan, Nashville Fairgrounds, and Homestead, Miami to round things out for this championship run. Taking a look at the points, it's Beatty, Deke, and Kibbe rounding out the podium. Beatty secured this one a long time ago, but Deke and Kibbe had to duke it out for second and third in the regular season. Colin Swanson all the way back to Kyle Shepard are there locked into the chase, but Cody Kassler, Tanner Honeycutt, Trevor Banks not locked in by a long stretch of the imagination. Honeycutt enters Richmond with some breathing room, but the job isn't quite finished yet, and Banks currently owns the final chase spot, and immediately behind him is Damon Sabo, who's only 7 points behind the cutoff line right now. That's effectively one battle on racetrack separating Banks and Sabo. Jacob Straw can still be in it. He's 19 points below. He's still within striking distance if Richmond turns chaotic. Bryce York with 100 points, 36 points back, and it'll be a heroic charge for him. Just a few moments remain in the qualifying session, but the grid has pretty much been set as everyone's done their runs up to this point. A 7-point cushion in the championship can disappear very quickly when one driver is fighting traffic and the other driver has clear track. So we'll have to see what can be done tonight. Couple keys to the race are going to be the tire management, as drivers need to avoid using the right front excessively on entry while simultaneously protecting rear grip on exit. Key number 2, center corner rotation, as the quickest Arca cars will be able to rotate through the middle without forcing the driver to wait forever before going back onto the throttle. Key number 3, we know that we'll have some restarts, and fresh tires and championship pressure will encourage aggression. These drivers around the chase cutoff cannot afford to surrender positions, but they also cannot afford significant damage tonight. Key number 4, the pit strategy, as the late caution could create a major decision between track position and fresh tires. For a bubble driver, the correct choice may also depend on where their championship rival is running, which leads us into key number 5, knowing who you're racing. Tonight, this may be the most important key of all, as Banks does not necessarily have to beat the entire field. He needs to protect his advantage over the drivers behind him, Sabo and Straw. They have a very different objective. They need to take points away from Banks as soon as possible. just checking the Discord to see who we can talk to tonight. Let's hop in and talk to Brandon Biddy really quickly and see how he fares tonight as the championship wraps up and we head into the final rounds of it. How do you feel, Brandon?
Feel good. I was quickest in practice and went to qualify, and my mind must have been somewhere else. But hey, I'll take fourth. But yeah, I feel good. This is one of my favorite tracks. I like this track, and just got to stay out of the mess tonight. But no matter what, I clinched a regular season championship, so I get the bonus of being first in the chase.
Yeah, with that being said, looking forward to the chase now. I mean, it's going to be a different ball game now that everybody hits the reset button, right?
Yeah, most definitely. This league or this series, we pay out really good for winning a race. So if you win a race, you get 50 points, and second place gets 35 points. So the way it's going to work in the chase is first place is going to have a 15-point lead over second place, and second place will have a 10-point lead over third, and third will have a 5-point lead over fourth, and then there through 16th they're just separated by 1 point. So I mean, you could literally be in second or third and win the race, and then there you are. You are in you're in first place.
There we have it. Thank you very much. Who'd you like to shout out and thank tonight before we go green?
Just my wife and kids for holding down the fort while I am in the sim rig.
Right on. Thank you very much, Biddy, for everything you do behind the scenes. Have a great night and stay safe out there.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Great to hear from the grid of drivers. Before we get going, let's see if we can jump in and talk to, if he's available, Mr. Chad Ashley. I don't see Chad Ashley. Don't see Tanner Honeycutt. Missing a few drivers in the Discord tonight. Maybe they don't want to be talking to us. We'll have to see if we can fix that as the night goes on. Maybe convince a few drivers that they deserve to be interviewed. But over trackside, we get ready to go green. Beautiful sunset here in Richmond. And of course, the number 56 Damon Sabo Victoria's Secret model is the one we're going to keep our eyes glued on tonight. Damon Sabo in 12th position right now. Let's see what can be done up at the front, though. It's Chad Ashley to take the green flag in front of Tanner Honeycutt. The number 54 gets a good green flag run right now in front of Brandon Biddy, who leapfrogs his way all the way up into third. The number 10 of Honeycutt trying to stave off the attack, but to no avail. Biddy is through. He is through like a hog being released from the pen, and he is out of there. In the background, let's keep our eyes here on that number 13 of Jonathan Gibby, the Dunkin' Donuts, with a yellow flag being thrown down. That might be the saving grace for Jonathan Gibby, who had a little slip, trip, and fall coming through the first pair of corners. Meatball flag being thrown for Trevor Banks, but I think that was actually the causation of the caution. Let's see if we can find out what happened here to Mr. Banks. Remember, Mr. Banks needs to finish well above Sabo tonight. Let's see what happened here to that number 30. Wowza! And the 17 goes into the 80, and then the 30 gets just collected in tarnation of all of that. Remember, we said we needed to keep an eye on that number 30, excuse me. And here we are, losing them out a little bit tonight. 5 positions down, but that unleashes Damon Sabo in 12th to do his worst to the rest of the field. Banks into the pits to serve that meatball, get some repairs done, and get back out onto the racing surface as quick as possible. Up ahead, the light's still on the official iRacing pace truck. So we'll get one more lap behind the pace truck before we go green flag running. The driver's still needing to get squared up 2x2 Noah's Arc formation. So we'll head out onto lap 7 before we get green flag running. Stage break coming in at lap 55, folks. So we do have quite a bit of green flag running before we get to that halfway point. And we'll call it quits right at 55 before we get the rest of the race on. Two by two Noah's Arc formation. The drivers get squared up, and there is Brandon Biddy from Biddy Family Racing in that number 2, working his way forward all the way up into P2 in the front row for this restart here after only running 1 lap of green flag running, or not even perhaps 1 flag of green running. But nonetheless, here we go, ready to take the second green flag of tonight into the restart zone. 54 gets a little loose on exit, and the 2 actually has better traction there. But it won't be enough because he's too far back. But looking forward, it will be the 10 and the 42 to go wheel to wheel, and a little bit of door banging there. That will be the 13 of Jonathan Kibbe, getting a little bit of love to the barriers on the outside of turn 2 here at Richmond. Across the stripe, Chad Ashley takes the new fast lap of this event. Bryce York trying to do things and pull off miracles tonight as he looks forward to getting up into the chase as well. Here comes York, up 3 positions now in that number 15. Gets another one done. This one completed on Jonathan Kibbe. Kibbe's not quite given up yet on that position. They're going to go side to side through turn number 1 and use up a little bit more of that rubber than I think they anticipated for the early run. Kibbe again with a tank slapper up against the wall. That's going to force a check out from the cars around him, including Bryce York, who may have been the one to check up against the wall, forcing the 115 of Kyle Shepard up the road. Damon Sabo in the number 56 behind. Looking ahead, it will be Brandon Biddy and Chad Ashley exchanging a few blows, and there goes Biddy. There goes Ashley trying to defend P1, but it will be none and done for Brandon Biddy to get that one completed. Keep our eyes on this gentleman right here, Noah Morris, in the 180, or badged as the number 77, I should say. And then number 12, excuse me, that is going to be the number 77 of Noah Morris. But up ahead, it's Bryce York and Jonathan Kibbe exchanging blows. They go across the stripe, wheel to wheel, door to door. Anthony Bissell and the Zip Tie Bandits, including in their battle with Scott Yancey, the number 23 driver. Up ahead, the battle settles down between York and Kibbe. For just a moment, the Dunkin' Donuts are ahead of Bryce York in the 15, who's lost nothing but gained nothing on his run this evening. Jacob Straw and Colin Swanson go wheel to wheel coming out of turn number 3. That 22 of Colin Swanson in the Sea Bears looking a little menacing this evening. And up ahead, the battle between Scott Yancey and Jacob Straw gets a little close. And here goes Kyle Wells, almost taking himself out of contention. But back up here to Straw and Yancey's battle across the restart zone. And it's good to go. Up ahead, Cody Deek leads the duo of Jesse Fox and Tanner Honeycutt in their wheel-to-wheel exchange. Tight is the 116 to the 57. Up against that rear quarter panel. Could have been a spin there, but the drivers here at Smokin Thunder well equipped to handle a tight challenge like that one. Scott Yancey, but watch out for Anthony Bissell trying to make a move on Bryce York here. Whoa, no, big spin from Colin Swanson, or who was that? Scott Yancey. Yancey in the 23. Big spin there. This looked like a solo one for Yancey. Everything's going all right until he gets on the throttle coming out of turn number 2 and then just straight into the barrier. Going to be a ton of radiator damage. And then able to recover, get it spun in the right direction, only losing out one at the end of the day, so not too bad for Scott Yancey to make that slight mistake. Couple of drivers deciding pit lane is appealing right now. Kibbe and Pierce being the pairing that decided it was the time. Lucky Dog being passed around for Frank Ranger in that number 73. Get grouped up behind the leaders now. They'll keep 20 drivers on the lead lap tonight. Let's get ready to go. Green flag racing again, folks. Barney's going to tap out the yellow flag for the green one in just a few moments. There it is. Barney switches out the flag. The pace truck pulls in. And the drivers square up 2 by 2 into the restart zone. We go green, green, green. Biddy takes off in front of Ashley and Paul Dirk right now in tow for third. Nearly 3 wide in the background, including Cody D, Kyle Shepard, and Jesse Fox. And Jesse Fox tumbles down the order as he gets sucked in to this huge pack of drivers. Take a looky here if it isn't Damon Sabo, the Victoria's Secret model. Number 56 charging up the order. 2 positions gained so far, trying to make that 3 as he dukes it out with Deke. Oh no, Kibby with a crash, Kibby with a crash. See what happens here to Jonathan Kibby. 13 behind the 117. Oh, looks like trouble up ahead between York and Colin Swanson. And then a sympathy spin for the number 13 at the end of it. Oh. Then he gets collected by 2 other drivers. As we get ready to go, green flag running one more time. Let's take a look and see where Damon Sabo lies compared to Trevor Banks. Banks might be the first driver a lap down and should get the lucky dog here momentarily. We'll let go to Frank Ranger in the 73. Pit lane. Only alive on lap 27 for Cody Deek. Interestingly enough. Oh, excuse me. Correction. Colin Swanson, Kibby, all in on that occasion. With 3 drivers involved in that big incident there. But they're back out onto the racetrack using up that fast repair, so we'll get back to racing here momentarily. Lights are off on the pace car. As we get into the restart zone, thank you very much to our proud title sponsor, Biddy's Premium Coatings. Green, green, green is in the air, folks. It will be Brandon Biddy to take off again at turn number 1, leaving his opponents to squabble over what could have been or what ifs on that restart. But from farm to table, Brandon Biddy and Biddy Family Racing are going to bring you some homegrown family fun. And the championship leader sure is expressing why he was able to come home with the championship for the regular season at the very least. But now the scrutiny begins postseason as the Chase playoff is underway. Side by side between the Raw Machine and the number 23 of Scott Yancey from Yancey Motorsports. 22 and the 23 exchanging a little bit of blows there. No harm, no foul between a couple of number compatriots. Except for there, maybe the number 13. Jonathan Kibbe trying to get out a little too early, but a breakaway run for him means they can leave Yancey in the dust. Lap number 37 of 55 for the stage right now. And it's still very much undecided who's going to come out on top. Kibbe in his recovery glued again with a 22 and a big loose moment there for Kibbe. Quick hands able to recover that minuscule mistake. Scott Drost up ahead of Kyle Shepard right now in the 115, and Noah Morris in the shady 180. Anthony Bissell in the number 99 back in number 8 position, but 11 positions gained for Bissell. Pretty phenomenal stuff. Let's see who has the fuel to make it an additional 15 laps. Up ahead, the battle for the lead remains just as spicy as can be, as Ashley chases down Biddy. Ashley around the outside tries to give a little pinch to Biddy in his pink tires. And it looked like holding him to that defensive line was the run to use. A little bit of separation now as Ashley is ahead of Brandon Biddy with 12 to go in this one. Number 2 chases down Chad Ashley, but Tanner Honeycutt and Paul Dirk may have had the fresher rubber saved for them in the long run. Drivers all nose to tail, leaving me speechless and just sitting back and enjoying the view right now. Two abreast. The 43 looks down to the inside and gets super loose on exit. And that'll be a caution called. Paul Dirk with a little slip up on the ice there. Now to pit or not to pit? That is the question. Single file, and we'll only get maybe a 1-lap dash before we go green flag running. Here we go. Getting squared up as we get ready to take the green flag, and then there'll be a quick yellow flag to the stage end. Squared up, wheel to wheel, and a 2-lap showdown. Akin to Bullring, anybody? Side by side. No longer. Chad Ashley concludes the caution lap, and the stage break gets settled. Good run for Ashley, Biddy, Honeycutt. Top three running well in the top three still. Just in a different order this time around. Drost falling out of flavor. Cody Deek gaining a few. Kyle Shepard gaining a few. But Colin Swanson in the number 22 coming down pit road now is the Flock and Furious. Smokin Thunder Arca Rookie Series fleet of drivers. Quick pit stop there. 6.65 for Deke, but for the rest of the field, it'll be around 15.6 to 14.1 seconds. Back behind the pace car. Take a quick little break before we get rolling again. Don't go anywhere, folks, because the Smokin Thunder Arca Rookie Series continues on in just a few moments. Here we go, squaring up 2x2. Ready to rumble. Keep our eyes peeled on Deke in that 76. As he's in front now. Green, green, green is the flag color. And it leads us around Richmond, Virginia. Here past the stage break. Yellow flag, and not seeing the causation there. Biddy running really cleanly behind Cody Deek, who did take off and almost left him back about 1 second. Last pit stop there for Cody Deek came in on lap 27, as he's obviously looking forward to the long stretch run here. Was it Dross, perhaps? Keep our eyes on the number 42 here. The 13 of Kibby gets a little loose in the background, but he's okay. And here comes down the 42. Up goes the 10, and pop goes the Weasel. Lucky dog being given now and wave around procedures in effect. Lucky dog going out to Frank Ranger. Gets his second lucky of the night. Here we go, ready to go back to green flag running in just about a lap or so. Lights should go off on the pace car in 3, 2, 1. There they go. Driver squared up Noah's Ark style. Get ready to accept the green flag here in just a few moments. In the restart zone, it will be Brandon Biddy to have a good advantage on the outside line. What has happened to Chad Ashley? He's left in the dust right now by none other than Jonathan Gibby. Honeycutt in the number 10, slide job up to the top in front of the 22. He cannot cover it off. The 22 uses that momentum to try to work the wheel a long way around the outside of Honeycutt. Here we go. Tight squeeze between the 10 and the 22 on entry to some of these corners. But if anybody can pull off tricks like this, it's going to be the Smokin' Thunder Rookie Series. Presented by Biddy's Premium Coatings. Looking in the background, a big kiss to the wall. The 77 making sweet tender love with the barrier on corner entry across 3 and 4, but again, no harm, no foul, and a cowgirl doing what a cowgirl needs to do. Speaking of doing what a cowgirl needs to do, pit lane calling the name of a few drivers tonight. Drivers that came in on that early stint, now coming down again. Jonathan Kibbe being one. Paul the Old Man Dirk into pit lane. Tanner Honeycutt. Jonathan Kibbe and Cody Zeke. Zeke coming down pit road. That sure is a surprising one. Here we go. It's only about 3/4 of the way through this one, folks. We have a lot of racing left to go. So make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications for when the Arca Rookie Series of Biddy's Premium Coatings goes live next. Darkness falls here in Richmond, Virginia on the D-shaped oval. Lights out on that pace car in the arena here in Richmond is absolutely littered with colorful fans. Here we go, green, green, green into the restart zone. And again, Brandon Biddy takes off so well on these restarts. It was definitely one of our keys to the race. For good reason, and Biddy has been controlling. Jacob Straw and Bryce York changing a little bit of paint jobs there. Of cars all the way from Colin Swanson down to Dirk. Unbelievable spread here. Speaking of Dirk, there goes the 43 on 13. I wonder what's going through the head right now of Bryce York. Bryce York in a little bit of trouble right now because it looks like Cody Deek is there and trying to force a 3 wide, and there's a big hip check down to the low side. That'll be the 57 of Jesse Fox. Oh, biscuits indeed. "39 quick laps left to go." Yellow flag, yellow flag, yellow flag. That's the 43 of Paul Dirk. See what happens earlier on. Kyle Wells involved in this one, and it seems to have boiled over. And that's the 56 of Sabo as well. Hopefully he was able to avoid the carnage and all this. Apologies for that. Stuck under replay there. Pit lane becomes alive as we just have under 40 remaining in this one. Bissell, Castole, and KB all decide to stay out. Kyle Shepard in the 115 cycles to the front. For those that pit on lap 83. Chad Ashley, then Biddy, Colin Swanson, Bryce York, Damon Sabo, Scott Dross, Tanner Honeycutt, Noah Morris, Jacob Straw, Jesse Fox. Cody Deek on his way out of the lane, but will tumble down the order behind Frank Ranger and Paul the Old Man Dirk. Dwayne Pierce and Trevor Banks. Worse for worse as Cody Deek now has an end of line penalty to kick him in the rear end as well. Bissell and Casole in the first row, trying to control the rest of the field, but it looks like KB on the fresh rubber goes down low and gets a touch to the apron. He loses his life on that one. Bissell promoted to third. Chad Ashley and Brandon Biddy in fifth, and we'll get another caution called. I don't know why it keeps sticking. There we go. Back to live. Every time. Maybe we'll just stay away from replays from now on. I apologize about that. We'll get that fixed here shortly. End of line penalty for Jacob Straw there. But this does buy time for Brandon Castole and Kyle Shepard, or excuse me, Anthony Bissell, drivers who didn't come into pit lane on lap 83. So those two that stayed out on 57 now have track position. And Brandon Biddy a little further back towards the end of this run. In 5th position right now. Chad Ashley also running in 4th, but Castole and Bissell being out of position right now really throws a wrench into the strategy. Green flag, and holy smokes, look at the run from Castole. Talk about Cali reflexes. Castole leaped away from that one. Look at that. Bryce York chopping it up like a NASCAR driver tonight. Up ahead, it's Bissell and Chad Ashley going wheel to wheel, and check out Biddy making it 3 wide. Coming down low, Bissell avoids the low line, stays up high towards the wall, and a couple cars off into the barriers, including the 115 of Kyle Shepard. Chad Ashley involved in that one as well. Let's see if we can get a replay of what happened without getting stuck. So Ashley in the 54. The 115 up ahead, a slap to the wall for the 117, and everybody, concertinas behind Castole. And a few decide that'll be it. Castole, Honeycutt, Ashley, York, Pierce, Shepard. And we're back, getting ready to go. Green flag running under the lights here in Richmond, Virginia at the Richmond Raceway. What can Colin Swanson do for Sea Bears Racing tonight? Oh, a little squirrely there for Swanson. Bet he takes advantage and uses his momentum forward. Swanson trying to snap back to the inside line down low, but the yellow flag is called. Brendan Castole and Anthony Bessel. Zip tie bandits decide it's time to come down pit road. Looks like Castole has a little slip up getting into the pits. And Bissell back out onto the racetrack. But up ahead, Biddy and Swanson, Cody Deek, Noah Morris. 37 running a quiet but deadly race this evening so far. Look at the climb there from Colin Swanson in the Sea Bear, who started in 18th position. Big checkup from the 22 on that restart, but he might have been out of position. Black flag for Colin Swanson, and the caution gets called. And we're only a few laps away from concluding this one, folks. 13 laps away. What can be done now? Let's see how this restart fares this time around. Looks good. Looks great for Biddy, though. What about Chad Ashley? What can he do in the number 54? Way down the order in 9th place. Caution called again. That's a quick one. Jonathan Kibbe being involved in this one. Let's see if we can get the replay going. Keep our eyes peeled on that 13 going to the apron. But it's trouble up ahead that causes the checkup, I think, from the 77. And then 13 comes up and gets collected and spun around. The last half of this race has been a little bit more aggressive than the first half, especially if you look at the chart now. We've had a lot of green flag running now up until to this last quarter. We talked about a lot of aggression coming out from the field early on in this race, and now it's definitely becoming true. Let's get ready to go green for 8 more laps, folks. Biddy again takes off. The 77 of Noah Morris looks like he's bobbing and weaving his way through like apples, trying to find a way through the field. Oh, the old man Dirk, what can you do in the number 43 from downtown? In the number 10. Yellow flag called here, yellow flag called here. End of line for Noah Morris. That's going to tumble him down the order in that 77, unfortunately. Driver had been working so hard to keep in that lead pack battle. Now, this might put us in the green-white checker territory, folks. A new way to end the season. Green, green, green with 2 to go, folks. Can Colin Swanson and the Sea Bears find themselves in a good points paying spot going across the line? Look at Trevor Banks. Look at Trevor Banks into P5 next to Kyle Wells right now. Holy smokes. White flag. This one's going official, folks. And there's a big touch to the 51. Kyle Wells goes round, but we're still going official. Benny Swanson Deke. And Benny with another win to finish things out before we go into the chase. Have a look at the results. It'll be Brendan Biddy, Colin Swanson, and Cody Deke, the 1, 2, 3. And then Scott Jost, Chad Ashley, Trevor Banks, Paul Dirk, Anthony Bissell, Brandon Castole, Kyle Shepard, Jacob Straw, Dwayne Pierce, Noah Morris, Kyle Wells, Tanner Honeycutt, Bryce York, Damon Sabo, Jesse Fox, Jonathan Kibbe, Mark Ouellette. Then straight over to Frank Ranger and Scott Yancey to round things out. Let's go ahead and start talking to our drivers here in just a minute. Go ahead and pull at their heartstrings here if I can find the right Discord. Brandon Biddy and Cody Deek ready to talk to us. So let's go ahead and pull in none other than Cody Deek and talk to the Oath Racing driver, the number 76. Now, Cody, did you think you'd end up here on the podium to round things out here before we head into the chase?
I mean, coming into the race, you always have that expectation to or goal to at least get a podium or leave with the top 5. But tonight, just like most of my nights, if you check the charts, it was up and down race. So the fact that we were able to make it back up here and secure a podium spot, I'll take it.
It sounds pretty good out there to round things out with the podium. Now, how do you feel about your likelihood going into the final few races here with Smokin Thunder?
So the playoffs start next week. We'll be sitting P2 going into the chase. So I feel pretty confident. It's just we just gotta stay out of trouble and just be smart and get through the playoffs and bring the car home in one piece, and we have a good shot.
Sounds like a good plan. Cody, anybody you'd like to shout out or anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
I'd like to go ahead and thank you up in the booth, Oath Racing, Lycan Forge 3D, Ulti Energy, Red Dragon. And then just another thing, I was really hoping to at least get a podium tonight. I got the Hayden Panettiere tribute on top of the car, so I'm glad to finish off the season with a podium representing that. It's been a crazy week. It's very sad news. So
sorry to hear, brother. Sorry to hear, my friend. Hopefully we can end things on a high note and end this championship on a high note as well. Good luck to you in the playoff run as the chase begins, and have a good night. Stay safe out there. God bless.
You too. God bless you.
Let's go ahead and talk to Brandon Biddy, who ended up doing what Biddy does best. I want to say the key to success tonight was definitely controlling those restarts. How about those launches, my man?
Yeah, man. I thought the outside was the best lane to launch from, and but there at the end, I decided to just do the inside lane because the guys next to me, they seemed to had kind of figured it out in a way. But yeah, I mean, at this track, if you can get on the restarts, if you can get them on the restarts, it's hard to catch them. That first stage, I was really running as hard as I could to see how long the tires would last, and unfortunately, they didn't last too long, so they fell off. So from then on out, I said, well, I got to make sure I conserve the tires a little better. And even with conserving tires, I realized, man, this is it was a hot rod tonight, and I could control the field. I hate that Chad Ashley got in a wreck. There, because I do feel that he was my biggest competitor tonight. If anybody had anything for me, I believe it was Chad. And when I saw him wreck, I said, okay, I just got to make sure I don't wreck and see what we can do here. But man, it's just been a fantastic regular season. I hope this momentum carries over into the chase and doesn't fall off. And I'll give you a fun fact. Every weekend that Joey Logano has won a race, I have come through and won a race as well, and he won here Saturday, and now I win here. So maybe Joey Logano could start winning more races. My son's a big Joey Logano fan, so maybe maybe Logano can win the championship, and if he does, maybe I'll win it too. So we'll see.
That's absolutely great. Good luck to you, my brother. I got a question for you, though, Brandon Biddy. Before we head into the chase, who are you shouting out, and who would you like to thank tonight?
Like I said earlier, I want to thank my wife and kids for putting up with me doing this and for the long season we've had. Thank all the drivers and everything, all the drivers that made the chase. We'll find that out later this evening when I work on points. And thank you there in the booth. You've been a great voice for us for the regular season, and I can't wait to hear you some more and watch your broadcast some more during the chase, and then all the people that show up, all the fans in the chat.
All the lovely fans in the chat. Thank you so much for what you do here, Biddy. Appreciate you so much. Have a great night, brother, and stay safe out there.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Bye-bye. That's going to round things out for us here on behalf of Digital Racing Sports Network. I want to extend my gratitude to the Arca Rookie Series. Smokin Thunder presents every week, presented by Biddy's Premium Coatings. Without them, we wouldn't be here and I would not have a job. Thank you so much to all the drivers for showing up and showing out week in, week out. Don't forget about our schedule. We have 80 laps of Vegas coming up in just a week's time. Then we have Echo Park, Michigan, Nashville Fairgrounds, and Homestead, Miami to round out the chase. Love you guys. Thank you very much for joining me. Very much for staying tuned. Have a great night. And most importantly, as always, stay safe out there. Goodbye for now.